Hey everyone, welcome back to How Much Money Can I Make with My Small Business Using Federal Contracts? I'm Michelle Brown. This is FedBiz Exchange Federal Contracting Series. So this is our third business profile with How Much Money Can I Make with my office supply company using federal contracts as a small business and using my GSA schedules. Now, I know some of you may not know what a GSA schedule is, but we will teach you. A lot of you do know, but this is just another example of a small business that doesn't have certifications, but they are using a different federal government contracting vehicle, which is a GSA schedule. It's like having a pre-approved federal contract with the government, except it's used to buy things off of. So a lot of different agencies use the same contract if they want to work with your company as a small business. You don't have to keep renegotiating the contract because the pricing is already there. And again, I will do some training on that. But right now, we just want to look at how much money you can make as a small business if you offer small business supplies, or I should say office supplies, to some of the federal agencies. And it's the same situation as the two previous profiles that we did, with the exception of this small business does not have a certification. They have a different contracting vehicle. But again, I go back to my point that no matter what the situation is, no matter what you're using as a small business, your status as a small business buys you a set aside, meaning you don't have to compete with the big guys. So you will compete with your peers, but even still, because there's so few of you bidding on some of these opportunities or getting GSA schedules or being involved in the federal contracting arena, there's a lot of opportunity out there for those of you that are willing to take the chance and take the time and take the focus and get the federal contracts. So we're going to do this one for a small business that is using a GSA schedule as a purchasing vehicle. So this report looks quite different than the other two. That's because we actually used a NAICS code to run this report. One of the codes for small business supplies would be 424120. This is one of the main codes used by the federal buyers. So we just decided to see what would happen with small businesses if we ran a report on the small businesses doing government contracts with federal buyers under this code, which is 424120, which is a very appropriate code. So it represents, stationery and office supplies. So we got a few businesses under this code, but the dollar amount that we got was $18,889,713. And as you can see, the description of the report is for federal contracts under 2018, 2017. We also included small businesses. We included stationery and office supplies, which includes merchant wholesalers. And they're all wholesalers, but the point is that we carved out this specific number just so that we could see. And then we decided to choose one of the businesses that uses a GSA schedule. Some of the award IDs down here at the bottom next to the recipients, like this Communications Professional Inc., they have a GSA schedule. You know how I know is because it says GS in front of it. That's the contract number. So any contracts that are awarded based on a GSA schedule will have GS in front of it. And then here's a dollar amount, and here's the award date, and all of the award types are going to be contracts. So, and then you have the agency right next to it, funding and awarding. So again, if I were to click on this download button, which I did, I will get all the details, which is a lot of details, by the way. If you followed my instructions in previous videos and you ran a report, you will see that it's quite a bit of information, but a lot of it is very useful and it helps you to do your research. And by the way, you only have to do your research, your big research once. You don't have to do this all the time, but if you never do it, you're never going to get it right. Or if you get it right, it'll be by accident. You don't want this to be by accident. You want this to be because you're diligent and you want to get the most out of this process. Okay, so we ran this report based on the NACE code 424120, and we got some interesting stuff. So the business that we're going to profile is coming up. That business is Crimson Imaging Supplies, LLC. This business is a small disadvantaged business. Once again, they have a GSA schedule. They do not have any certifications. That is not considered a certification, even though we have it in that spot. It is not a set aside under GSA. Now, you can get a set aside as a small business under GSA. GSA contract is, again, it is a contracting vehicle. It is not a certification. And then products or services, they sell toner and paper supplies to the federal government. So this contract that they have, it is pre-negotiated, this GSA schedule, it's pre-negotiated. So every federal agency that wants to work with them would buy their products and off of the schedule. So if you have three agencies that want to buy toner, for instance, they would use the GSA schedule for Crimson Imaging Supplies, and they would go and purchase it at any time that they want. A lot of times people that have GSA schedules, they'll use credit cards or accept credit cards. So they may just put in an order, one of the federal agencies, they just buy from the list. It's like having a catalog online, and then people just go in there and buy. Or having you know how some of our companies, I know we have one, usually companies have a store where people can just go and buy what they need to, and no one needs to man the store because everything is already preset. The only thing that they would do is call and ask questions or email to ask questions, just like they would with your store if your customers had any questions. They have 22 employees. Their annual revenue is 5.5 million at this time. And we're looking at contracts awarded up to date 2018, 2017, 2016, and 2015. And then the code, I already told you what code we were using for the NAICS code, the NACE code, I told you that. But look at this. They use both PSC codes 7510, which both of the other businesses used, but none of the other businesses used 9310. So 7510 and 9310. And you know PSC codes are product service codes. They help you to connect better with the buyers. They help to refine the description of your products and services. So now let's look at this company, Crimson Imaging Supplies. So for 2017, they did about $2.3 million, which is not bad at all. In 2016, they were awarded $3.2 million. So they went down a little bit from 17 to 16. And then 2015, they did $1.6 million. They trended up, which is normal. So, you know, in 2015 they were 1.6, but they went up from there, which is awesome. And hopefully they'll get their numbers back up again. It really just depends on what's going on, not just with the agency, as I mentioned before, but also with the company. And then in 2018, which it looks like they're on track for doing very well, already in the first quarter of 2018, they've done $451,000, and that's just the beginning. So we're going into the second quarter. Hopefully by then, which it looks like, they may be at $1 million if they continue at this pace. Now let's see who the agencies are that they're working with. Looks like they're working with the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice appears to have done quite a bit of business with imaging, Crimson Imaging, excuse me. It looks like they've done very well with them, 1.5 million over the past couple years. And then the Department of Defense has done about 336,000. The Office of Personnel Management has done about 155,000, Federal Trade Commission 116,000, and the Department of Homeland Security 57,000. Now, they look like they're doing very well, which they are, but I would just, if I were giving them some advice, I would just suggest that they not put so much into just one of the agencies. Stay where they are, continue to grow with the Department of Justice, but also put a little bit more effort into some of the other departments as well. Because remember, federal contracting is just like going to get business for your commercial business. It's the same thing. It actually is handled differently, but it's the same thing. You need to make yourself known. You need to bid in certain areas. You can't slack off in different areas. So 1.5 million, and we saw that they even got all the way up to 3 million. 1.5 million is quite a bit of money in one area, which would be the Department of Justice. So you just want to stay as balanced as you can, because that would be a hard hit if the Department of Justice stopped doing business with this company. And that would hurt the company quite a bit. Even if it doesn't affect their commercial side, regardless, once you start generating that kind of income, you need to keep it up, but it needs to be balanced. Again, it's like having multiple streams of income, which would be multiple agencies that you're working with under federal contracts. And that's what you do on the commercial side as well. With that said, thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Now, that concludes our office supply small business overviews and profiles. We'll go on to a next industry. I will not tell you what that industry is. It's going to be a surprise, but we'll get right into that industry. We will also in this series do some coverage for each of the federal agencies so that you can see the types of dollars that each of the agencies are spending with small businesses, woman-owned, veteran-owned, hub zone, 8A. You will see exactly what it means to understand and to know which agencies are doing what business in which small business communities. But please leave me your comments. Let me know what you think. Tell me about any industries you'd like me to research, and I'll make sure that I get it done. With that said, again, thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Talk to you soon.